Hey, well, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic. I'm so excited. I'm doing this from the car. I just left my mom's. My wife got there, so I've got a few minutes. People, oh man, this is such a win, and you got to hear this. I'm going to read you something out of The Guardian, okay? And it is just, their reaction makes this win even better by far. Oh gosh, you're going to love this. You're going to so love this. I'm telling you, stick with me through this one. There was a huge win in New York against the gun grabbers. And but you got to just stick with me through this because I got a lot of commentary on the reaction of these lefties at The Guardian. It's phenomenal. Please do smash that like as you come in. Chat it up with where you're from. Okay. Matamidi, Minnesota. I almost bought a house in Matamidi once. Yes, in New York, Crash Bandit. No joke. I kid you not. Okay. Also, really quickly, I do want to mention my sponsor, MyPillow, mypillow.com, promo code Lumberjack. Get yourself some of that stuff, man. I was just walking around in my jammy pants this morning. Most comfortable little jammy pants. They're just like this soft, super soft cotton. You'll love them. And then you got the Giza sheets, which I always recommend, and then of course you can get some Let's Go Brandon merchandise at no, not my. I'm sorry, I'm still lacking sleep with taking care of my mom. It's been really crazy. Dave, good to see you on. Dave Cares for You has a great YouTube channel, folks. If you want to follow that, if you want to understand some constitutional law and stuff, I just saw him on there. So. Anyways, but really quickly, by the way, you had a great video. That was a great video you did the other day on Rumble, I saw, Dave. So thank you for that. That was actually regarding the Second Amendment as well. But this is a massive win for the Second Amendment. Oh, yes, lumberjacklogicshow.com, where you can get yourself some of this great merchandise. And just to answer your question, my mom is progressing down. So just for those who are wondering, we're doing in-home care, if you don't know, and it's difficult, okay? But she seems to be getting closure on some things and getting ready to go home. So just for what it's worth, it's tough, but anyways, this is a big win. So here we go. U.S. Supreme Court overturns New York handgun law in bitter blow to gun control push. People, listen to this. This out of The Guardian. The headline is U.S. Supreme Court overturns New York handgun law in bitter blow to gun control push. Court's conservative majority strikes down New York law requiring proper cause to carry handguns in public. This is on the heels of the massive win. I see somebody from Maine on there. Look, this is off the massive win for religious liberties and religious freedom in Maine as far as educational choice goes in rural areas where they weren't able to. That's a whole other story. I don't want to get sidetracked by that, but you can look that up. Big win from the Supreme Court in Maine also. The U.S. Supreme Court has opened the door for listen, this is where it gets so good. They're upset about this, but listen to the paragraph. The U.S. Supreme Court has opened the door for almost all law-abiding Americans to carry concealed and loaded handguns in public after the conservative majority struck down a New York law that placed strict restrictions on the firearms outside the home. Can you believe this? They are upset about almost all law-abiding Americans to carry these things when that's our freaking Constitution. It's called the Second Amendment. It's called not infringing upon the rights of the people, where they get their duly elected, their just powers they're derived from the consent of who? The governed, and that's us. Smash the like if you would, please. I love this story. The governor of New York, a Democrat, said the ruling was, listen to this. The governor of New York, a Democrat, said the ruling was not just reckless, it's reprehensible. Pointing to recent mass shootings in New York and Texas, a leading progressive group called the ruling shameful and outrageous. On the U.S. left, outrage is growing over the court's rightward march. Earlier this week, the court handed down a ruling which attacked the separation of church and state. Oh, that's the one I'm talking about in Maine. By the way, separation of church and state, Dave, you can correct me if I'm wrong because I know you're on, is not in the Constitution. There is nothing in the Constitution that talks about the separation of church and state. Okay, it talks about freedom of religion, not freedom from religion. That means that we have the ability to operate in the capacity of our religious beliefs, no matter where we are. Okay, All right. So let's see. As soon as Friday, it is expected to undermine or remove the right to abortion. So now, of course, the right to do that which is wrong, which that's what that is. By the way, there was another amazing story I read. I'll share it on my Telegram channel. Make sure you're subscribed over there because that's where it was and it's easy to share. I'm looking I got to get that share. But there was an article in the Washington Post about a young couple that ended up finding purpose. It totally reads not how the Washington Post wants it to, but they're so clouded by their views. They didn't understand how absolutely fantastic the Texas law was and what it did for this young couple so they don't have to live with those regrets. It's amazing, and it's in the Washington Post. I kid you not. But again, it's one of those, like this one, it's lefties writing something where they think it's bad, but it proves everything that we know to be right. Catfish, good to see you on. All right. Let's see. Guaranteed. Okay, so the right to abortion guaranteed since 1973, and to reduce the federal government's ability to cut emissions, contributing to the climate crisis. Oh, this is going to get amazing. The New York law struck down on Thursday required anyone waiting to carry a handgun in public to prove that they had proper cause to do so. Okay, seriously. The decision in the case of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen renders the law an unconstitutional violation of the Second Amendment right to bear arms. This is awesome. It has profound implications. Listen to this. It has profound implications for the safety and conduct of up to 83 million people in New York and 7 other states, plus Washington, D.C., which, by the way, was just recognized as absolutely the worst governed city in the whole country. Okay, so why? But anyways, would we want to be like them, which have similar proper cause laws? Okay, so you have to prove cause to exercise a constitutional right. That's what this law said. Are you guys understanding? That's what this is all about. They needed to show proper cause to exercise the right upon which no one shall be infringed. Okay, all right. Oh, that makes sense. The decision in the case of the New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen renders the law an unconstitutional. It's an unconstitutional violation of the Second Amendment right to bear arms. Okay, I go back and read that again. Just weeks ago, they go on to the Uvalde and that, like somehow, that's the people who obey the law that are doing this. The Democratic and Republican senators have since agreed on a framework for gun reform. On Thursday, Mitch McConnell, the Republican leader in the Senate, said the proposal did not lay one finger on the Second Amendment. That's not true. I could get into that, but I'm not right now. And would make the country safer. It won't. What would make the country safer is if they actually enforce the laws on the books and put gun criminals in jail instead of like Obama during the last part of his term doing well over 1,000 pardons of violent offenders with guns. Okay? I get worked up about this one, people, because no, you do not take guns from law-abiding citizens. You do not infringe upon the rights of law-abiding citizens. These are guaranteed fundamental rights. They're guaranteed in our Bill of Rights, okay? Gosh, this is such an awesome story. Smash that like. But the funny thing is, if you're listening to this, how the liberals are interpreting it, it's absolutely off the charts. They're upset that our fundamental rights are being infringed upon. Okay? The New York case was brought after 2 men sued the state under the proper cause law. The men could secure unlimited permission to carry concealed guns in public only if they could demonstrate a special need for self-protection. You need a special need to self-protect now? What the hell is this? Absolute insanity. Hey, Lisa's getting her AR next weekend. That's fantastic. Buy a couple, Anyways, the more we show our support, and that's why, when you look at, well, how do you vote with your dollars? You can buy guns, you can buy MyPillow, you can do anything that supports the parallel economy and not the woke tards, okay? Seriously. Lawyers argued that carrying a firearm outside the home was a fundamental constitutional right. No kidding, okay? It's not some extraordinary action that requires an extraordinary demonstration of need. Before the decision came down, several of the largest U.S. civil rights groups and gun safety groups attempted to dissuade the court from gutting the New York regulations. The ACLU filed an amicus brief in which it argued that lifting controls on carrying guns in public places would... Listen to this. This is funny. I'm not kidding. They actually say this. Pay attention now. Look at me. Okay? It said that lifting controls on carrying guns in public places would harm basic First Amendment rights such as assembly, association, and free speech. No, I'm going to tell you something, my fine patriots, my good friends out there in listener land. This is the one thing that absolutely ensures your right to free speech is the Second Amendment. So let's not get that confused, okay? Gun control advocates warn that scrapping the law could exacerbate relations between police officers and citizens because anyone coming into contact with law enforcement is now more likely to be legally armed. Okay, so let's just take a break out here. How many people were armed at their great insurrection thing they keep talking about? Zero, folks, okay? Come on, this is just nuts, okay? The only gun crime perpetrated that day was by a Capitol Police officer, okay? On Thursday, the governor of New York, Kathy Hochul, said, "The Supreme Court is setting us backwards in dealing with gun violence. The decision is not just reckless, it's reprehensible." Hochul also said she was prepared to call the legislature back into session to deal with this. Well, you know what? You go deal all you want, but your laws that are unconstitutional are going to continue to be deemed unconstitutional. Okay? If the norm is that people... Oh, wait, no, this is Brian Frosh, the Attorney General of Maryland, said the ruling would cause more deaths and more pain in a country already awash in gun violence. I guarantee you, folks, that the only thing that this will cause is people protecting themselves from gun violence, okay? If the norm is that people can carry firearms, our neighborhoods, our streets, and other public places will become more dangerous. Yes, because it's the law-abiding citizens carrying legally that are the big problem there, Brian, okay? It will make the lives of law enforcement more difficult and more perilous. The epidemic of gun violence sweeping our nation demonstrates daily the folly of introducing more guns into this boiling cauldron. Okay? Epting said, "It is hard to imagine a Supreme Court that is more out of touch with the people of this nation. Common sense policies to reduce gun violence are supported by 9 out of 10 Americans. This court has once again, this is not any sort of common sense solution." Okay? Telling people that they can't be armed unless they demonstrate some great need? Come on, man. It's nothing more than the political arm of the most extreme elements of the Republican Party. That would be us, fellow patriots. That would be us. Extreme. Okay. Pointing out McConnell's unprecedented denial of even hearing to Barack Obama's third nominee, Merrick Garland. Can you imagine if McConnell had caved on that? Of all the things McConnell has ever done, that's the greatest thing he's ever done. If he had caved on that, that joker would be on the Supreme Court, people. My gosh, can you imagine the terrible decisions coming down? Whoo! In the confirmation of 3 justices under Donald Trump, Epting said Republicans stole seats and packed this court. Listen to the language there. Okay, never was a seat stolen, and the court was not packed because it was not expanded. Okay? And then they say that voters have repeatedly rejected this at the ballot box. No, they haven't. In fact, the election was completely what you would call a... what's the word I'm looking for? A mandate on the Supreme Court, because that's why it was held out. Smash the like, folks. Smash it just and chat it up, okay? It is far past the time we expand the court, reform it, and restore balance to our judicial system. No, what they want is a non-balanced judicial system that favors their policies so they can run roughshod over the will of the American people. Now, I'm going to close this out with the funniest thing I've ever read, which is the Guardian's call for donations. Listen to this. We have a small favor to ask. Tens of millions have placed their trust in The Guardian's fearless journalism since we started publishing 200 years ago, turning to us in moments of crisis, uncertainty, solidarity, and hope. More than 1.5 million supporters from 180 countries now power us financially, keeping us open to all and fiercely independent. Unlike many other, The Guardian has no shareholders and no billionaire owner, just the determination and passion to deliver high-impact global reporting, always free from commercial and political influence. Oh, please. Reporting like this is vital for democracy, for fairness, and to demand better from the powerful. And we provide this free for everyone to read. That's right, and I'm not giving you a dime, okay? Anyways, it goes on, but here, folks, just please don't support The Guardian. Support someone else. I mean, it can be whomever you want. All right, that could be, maybe it's Daily Wire and the culture war that they're engaged in. Maybe it's my channel. I know I've been down on content here, but I am taking care of my mom, so I apologize, but I got to do that. Also, MyPillow, mypillow.com. You use promo code Lumberjack, you save up to 66%, and it's great products, okay? When you're thinking of buying gifts, think of how you can support the parallel economy. Revere Coffee Company, My Patriot Supply. All those links are in the description below, all right? And just, leave a comment before you leave. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe and just smash that like button on the way out. I love y'all. We are winning. At the end of the day, we're going to win. And a lot of people like to focus on the negative and say that we are losing and we're going to lose and all this kind of stuff. And they like to point out different things. I'm telling people that the midterms, I said 100 seats. I'm sticking by that. If I'm off, that's fine. So, and for My Patriot Supply, Hippy Dippy, you got to use the link down below. Otherwise, the channel doesn't get any credit. But you can always just go buy from them too. But I just want you to know that a lot of people will say that there's no hope, that we're losing, that the left is winning. And that's quite simply not the case. Now, one of my biggest concerns is the culture war. I'll talk more about that as time goes on because that's a big deal. But this is a huge win. Don't underestimate the power of this win. It is showing legislatures that they can't just ride roughshod over the Constitution of the United States of America, the will of the people and the will of the founders and how they set this country up. It is not a democracy. It is a representative republic. Never forget that. Okay? Never forget that. Society can sway on whims at any given time, okay? And majority rule is not a great rule, okay? But electing people and allowing that process, the big thing, though, we do need term limits. I mean, and all of America is in agreement on that, and we still haven't been able to get that done because they are so interested in protecting their seats in Washington, okay? All right? I love y'all. Keep fighting the good fight. Remember, lumberjacklogicshow.com, at least register your email. Or if you go to locals, you register your email. So if there's ever a time that I'm not able to produce content on this channel, which has happened a couple times almost, and has for weeks, and whatnot, but due to their policies, just make sure. I know we've got a band reunion coming up again. Marcus is going to run that on his Rumble channel, so you can search for Exposure on Rumble or Marcus D on Rumble. So anyways, I love y'all, all right? Peace out.